What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all checking me out as always. Look, it's been a lot of activity going on since the beginning of free agency start. Even prior to that, there was a lot of rumors and whatnot going on, and I haven't really been able to give my 10 cents on a lot of the moves because it's one or two dominoes, mainly one domino that I'm waiting to fall. I think that's just gonna change things drastically. But I can't wait on Kevin Durant like the rest of the NBA executives and world and all that little extra stuff to see what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So I decided to go ahead and say fuck KD. All right. We ain't gonna worry about his trade. We're not gonna worry about Kyrie Irving's trade. We're gonna talk about the trade between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Utah Jazz. Now I spoke previously about the Utah Jazz's part, basically talking about how they should go ahead and trade Donovan Mitchell because you got essentially what 5, 6 draft first round picks for the Rudy Gobert trade. You traded away Royce O'Neal. That was one of his homeboys. Rudy is gone. What do you have left on that team? There's not much left on that team besides Donovan Mitchell. And I don't think that they will be able to compete. I don't even see them being a playing team, honestly, next year, if I'm being honest with you. It's so different from the past whatever 2 3 years that the Utah Jazz been in playoff contention. The team is so much different, and if I'm if I'm Donovan Mitchell, I definitely want to get up out of there because we don't look like we competing no time soon. All right, and I think that they are off to a very good start. Here's the thing: they might as well. Now we speaking on the Utah Jazz here. They might as well go ahead and trade Donovan Mitchell because when you look at what's going on around the Western Conference, they Utah Jazz are in trouble. They can't really honestly expect to come in with the roster that they have currently right now and compete in the playoffs. I don't see it happening. You got squads who got the jump on them as far as developing their players, developing their team, or getting ready for the future. Here's the thing with the Utah Jazz: go ahead and get rid of Donovan Mitchell and bring in other picks. Bring in maybe an all-star level talent that you might feel comfortable having on the roster. Um, I think they still got some guys over there. They still got Jordan Clarkson. I think they still got Mike Conley over there. Those are contracts that you could unload and possibly open up some cap space along with Donovan Mitchell. Trade him, open up some cap space. Let's go ahead and start getting ready for the future because the Oklahoma City Thunder have already began their process. We know they got studs, they got picks. They already began their process. They're looking like they might be some type of issue in the future. Maybe not the near future, but the future nonetheless. All right. You got the San Antonio Spurs, somebody who got plenty of cap space, somebody who has a winning culture, winning history, a great head coach in Greg Popovich, however long he'll be there. Really don't matter because you know his successor is going to be a damn good coach too. All right. We talked about it previously. I think 30% of the coaches in the NBA right now come from Greg Popovich's tree. So you got that to work with. You got the cap space in San Antonio. They just traded away DeJounte Murray. I get to that another time because I get to that another time. They got rid of Lonnie Walker, and they do still have some young pieces over there to play around with. I think they are in play. I think they were in play. I don't know how much they still are, but were in play for the DeAndre Ayton acquisition. I'm not sure how that's about to turn out either, but either way it go, this still is another team who was in the Western Conference who was in better position than the Utah Jazz going forward. So you got the San Antonio Spurs, you got the Oklahoma City Thunder, you got the Golden State Warriors who look like they primed for the future, the present, and the future. And it's just too much. It's too much talent in the Western Conference. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves who Looking at this trade, this is really why I'm making the video. I kind of got off a little kind of off topic talking about the Utah Jazz, but not so much really. I don't guess, whatever. That's whatever. The Minnesota Timberwolves, man. I'm real conflicted on this trade right here. Very conflicted on this trade because while I was looking into why the Minnesota Timberwolves traded away essentially 5 to 6 first round picks, it's just started making more and more sense. Now, is 5 or 6 picks for Rudy Gobert a bit extreme? Is it a bit much? I just don't really know. I just don't really know looking at his defensive numbers and some of his offensive statistics. Um, Rudy Gobert is 30 years old. By the time his contract is over, he'll be 33. All right, 9 years in the league. We're talking about a number 27 pick in the first round. Rudy Gobert has been the staple of defense for the Utah Jazz. Three-time defensive player of the year. I mean, that's elite company. He joins elite company in that with that category. I think Ben Wallace, Dikembe Mutombo. Can't remember who else, but that's elite defense right there. All right. Three defensive players of the year is elite defense. Now, when we look at what the Minnesota Timberwolves lacked last season, they were, let's see here. Defensively, they were not the best defensive team. All right. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves led the league in points per game. They led the league in 3 pointers per game. All right. That's 3 pointers made, not attempted. So they don't have no issue scoring the ball between Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. I think that the fact that they were able to keep those two pieces, I think that may be because here's the thing: when you make a trade, you have to give something up. You have to get something, and you're getting an elite defense, a unique talent, as a matter of fact, in Rudy Gobert. I'll go as far as to say that Rudy Gobert is a unique talent. Here's what I mean here. We got a guy, if you get off into the nerd stats, we got a guy who was third in the league. He finished third in the league last season in screen assists. All right. Behind DeAndre Ayton and Nikola Vucevic. Now, screen assists might not seem like, that maybe some people don't score that. I don't know. Personally, I think that's a pretty decent stat to track. It's not, whatever. I'm not gonna bite your head off for bringing that stat up, and I'm not gonna, whatever. You don't lose points for not bringing it up either, whatever the case may be. He was first in the league in rebounds per game with 14.7 this season. He was third in blocks behind Jaren Jackson and Robert Williams. He was first in the league in field goal percentage. Now, you might say that that's not a lot. You might say that that don't mean much because Rudy Gobert is a center. All of his buckets come from around the rim. Whoop de whoop de whoop. He don't take that many attempts. Da 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 da. Listen, man, the dude led the league in field goal percentage at 71.3%. 71.3%. The next closest big man, if I'm not mistaken, in field goal percentage was Jared Allen, and maybe that was somewhere around 65 to 68%. 71% is where is that not a positive at? All right, 71%. Now, you got some people who might get on Rudy Gobert's ass as far as defense goes because of the switchability. You bring him out to the perimeter, he's not really so good at that guarding players along the perimeter. All right, yeah, I could agree on that. I do. I could agree on that. But here's my counter to that. Marcus Smart just won Defensive Player of the Year. Is he a good post player? Is Marcus Smart a good post player? If you put Marcus Smart down in the paint against, I don't know, Anthony Davis, how is he going to fare out? All right. You got to give credit where credit is due. Now, if you're looking at the Minnesota Timberwolves, all they were missing were defense. They had the offense. All they were missing was defense. Now, if you got Utah, who finished the league number 9 last season in defensive field goal percentage, all right, defensive field goal percentage, they finished number 9. The Minnesota Timberwolves finished number 16. The Utah Jazz probably is no probably to it. I'm pretty sure they were only ranked that high because of Rudy Gobert. Now, if you bring him over to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who ranked number 16 in defensive field goal percentage, number 10 in defensive field goals made. You know what I mean? So all they were missing was the defensive element. And I can guarantee you that they will be. I'm willing to go out on a limb right here and say that they'll be top 5 in offense next season, and they'll be top 10, no questions asked, in defense. And I think that that was their way of thinking. They figure, hey, we got a prime Rudy Gobert. Now, when I say prime, maybe he's not winning the awards that he won a few years ago. All right. Well, he still can very much so qualify for these awards. Looking at his defensive rating last season, he finished with the second best on his 9-year career with 104. Now his season best was 107. All right. It's not much of a drop off. Again, that's his second best of his career. And that was a couple years ago, 2, 3 years ago, where he finished with a 107 defensive rating. So, again, man, I guess it's a matter of, I know if you're not scoring points in this NBA, then a lot of people consider you not so much talented, but I think that Rudy Gobert is an elite defender. He brings a very unique defensive skill set to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I think that he'll really be able to help them with that. He'll help them with their rebounding as well. All right. I think was it a risky move? Absolutely. Will not argue with you on it being a risky move, but I definitely believe it was the move for these guys to make. If you looking to make a better playoff push than what you did. Because remember, they just pushed the Memphis Grizzlies to their limits this past postseason. So I absolutely think that it was the right move to make. Will it pay off? That's the ultimate question. And will it pay off? Because when we ask the question, will it work? What the fuck do that even supposed to mean? Will it work? Will it work? That's a crazy question to ask. Will it work to what level? I think that's just it's a very vague question for real to ask. It's what is working? Will it win a championship? I don't know if it'll win a championship, but I do think that it increased their chances. I think that they can make it out of the second round in the Western Conference by adding Rudy Gobert. I don't think there'll be a play-in team next year. I don't. I think they'll be a top team next year. I honestly do. I think they'll finish with at least a 6 seed in the Western Conference. Yes, indeed, I do. So, you know, I just wanted to come on and give y'all my 10 cents on that, man. I think that is a good acquisition. Did they give up a lot? Did they give up too much? I can't say that they gave up too much. You got two young cornerstone players in Carl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. Why do I really need these draft picks? Honestly, why do I really need these draft picks? I traded them away and I brought in a player with defensive effort, defensive IQ, defensive skill set, and he's got a real player, a team like mentality. He's not one of these guys who, y'all know which one of the guys I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But look though, that's me. I'm wrapping this one up, man. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.